Leading for equity is always challenging, and it might be more challenging now than it's ever been. I work with so many senior leaders who are absolutely committed to inclusion and the well-being for all, both within their organizations, but also in the impact that they want to have in the broader world. Their commitment is so clear, their dedication is unwavering, and yet they're still worried about how to be effective, how to navigate the current context, how to not mess up, how to not experience further harm themselves or do further harm to others. And despite really great intentions, we can be hesitant, we can second guess ourselves, and we can worry about whether we're being as effective as possible as leaders in general and leading for equity specifically. In fact, many leaders say, I'm so committed, just tell me what to do. And I wish it was that easy. Part of our Evolve Your Leadership Voice program is really focused on this. And today, I want to share with you 10 quick lessons that emerged from our first year of running 3 different cohorts of Evolve. Evolve, or Evolve Your Leadership Voice, is a program that I run with 2 colleagues, Drs. Brian Arao and Don Lee. And Evolve is a 3-month or 12-week program. It's got asynchronous content that you can watch on your own schedule, short, succinct little videos to deliver the content with a lot of resources to support that. And we pair that with 6 individual coaching sessions, one-on-one just for you, and then 6 group coaching sessions so that we can learn with and from each other. We do 3 cohorts a year. We probably have one coming up if you want to connect with us. And after our first year of running this program with senior leaders around leadership and leading for equity, 10 clear lessons began to emerge that we either didn't expect or didn't expect to emerge that way. So today I want to share with you these 10 quick lessons from Evolve. The first lesson is that social change begins with inner work. Now, there's good news and bad news here. The bad news is I want social change to be about changing you, changing them, changing the news, changing the world, changing him. And it can feel a little hard to think that social change is inner work that I need to begin with myself. I'd rather change other people than change myself. The good news is I don't have a lot of control over changing the world or them or this thing, but I do have agency over changing myself. And I think focusing on the inner work maybe feels self-indulgent or not the hard work until you try doing it, and then it is really challenging. As Grace Lee Boggs reminds us, you have to transform yourself to transform the world. And this is a theme that keeps coming up again and again in Evolve. A second thing is how important it is to heal from our equity leadership traumas and how we can do that. And this is through recognizing, reconciling, and rewriting. So equity leadership traumas are those past experiences of leading for equity where it has gone horribly wrong. It might have gone horribly wrong because we messed up and made a mistake and caused harm. It might have gone horribly wrong because of the pushback, the retribution, the consequences from oppressive systems of us doing really good work. And we hear from every single leader in Evolve some kind of equity leadership trauma that haunts them presently from their past. And that's the definition of trauma, a past thing that feels present with us and gets in the way of what we're doing now. And so we offer a process of really healing from those equity leadership traumas. And succinctly, it's about recognizing what they are and that they exist, reconciling them from what they do have to offer of value and letting go what maybe is getting in our way and not valuable, and then rewriting the experience. And there's many different ways that we can do that. The third thing is aligning our personal and organizational values. I think a lot of times we feel like this is important to us, and so we have to convince other people why it is so important to us. Well, really effective senior leaders recognize the organization or institutional values and frame the case they're making in terms of that. Now, whether you're at a Jesuit institution, you might frame it in a particular way than if you're at a small college that is focused on global initiatives and international engagement. Then might be very different than if you're at another institution or corporation or nonprofit. So how do you align the case you're making for some of these things around equity, rooted in the organizational values, the commitment, the mission, vision, values, the founding, the history, sometimes 300 years of history? How do you align that, not for you, but with the organization? That clarity and alignment can be powerful. Number 4, leverage our strengths and lead as a team. One of the things that senior leaders get clear about in Evolve is all the different strengths that they bring. And sometimes we lose sight of that because they're with us every day and we stop noticing them and we can take them for granted. But really highlighting the strengths they bring to their own leadership and toward equity leadership specifically. And then also recognizing, what does the organization need and where are my strengths a good fit for that? And also recognizing, what does the organization need and where are my strengths maybe not a great fit for that? And how can I either work with my teammates, other senior leaders, or others in the organization to meet that need? Or how do I expand my capacity and develop those skills so that I can meet the organizational need? Number 5 is prioritizing effectiveness over being right. I love this question of, would you rather be right or would you rather be effective? And shifting from trying to be right in our indignation and self-righteousness and getting points and being performative is so tempting, and I've done it a lot. In shifting from what would help me be effective in creating policy change or systems change or cultural change or helping this individual learn, grow, and transform. When we're focused on growth and learning and transformation and positive change, our path is what's the most effective way to get there, and less so me being right, getting credit, being rooted in my ego. Number 6, there are no one-size-fits-all solutions. So many leaders say, just tell me what to do, as I said at the beginning of this. I wish it was that easy. I wish we could say, if you ever encounter this, then do this. And if you ever encounter this, then do this. It will work every time. And that's just not the reality of leadership, and certainly not the reality of leading for equity. And so there's no one-size-fits-all solutions, which means you get to make it up, and you need to make it up. You need to be innovative and creative, and imagination and seeing possibilities are really useful tools. And developing, rather than if this then that solutions and memorizing them, we have to develop skills and capacity to lead in many different contexts with many different people in many different situations. Helps us be adaptable, nuanced, and engaging in identity conscious leadership, both our own and the identities of others. Number 7, internal obstacles can be just as challenging. When we talk about the challenges around leading for equity, we often think about the news, resistant people in the organization, external challenges, people who might make it difficult. And those things are absolutely real. What we often forget about are the internal challenges within us. That I really want this change, but I'm afraid of burning this bridge, or I'm worried I might mess up, and the shame that I might experience in that. Or the internal challenges to the organization, a person who's an obstacle, a historical thing that people can't move past. And so the internal obstacles can be just as challenging as the external. The external often gets our attention, but often the path towards being effective is navigating the internal obstacles effectively. Number 8, hurting people hurt others. Have you ever done that? Been hurting and hurt someone else? One of the things that leaders find they need to do is they recognize some of the ways that when they're hurting, they do cause harm. And that realization is hard because it comes with so much regret. And it also calls us to do our own healing work, to really work on ourselves so that we do less harm, and to work on ourselves so that we can help other people also heal from that. Now, healing isn't a finite journey where you go from being harmed to being healed and you're done. It's an ongoing thing. And I like to think about healing as moving us toward wholeness, where even our bad experiences become part of our story rather than a thing that threatens who we are and our story. Number 9, balancing courage and humility and leadership. And we need both of these. We need courage to step up, to say the hard thing, to tell the truth when maybe it's unpopular, to make the tough calls. And we also need humility, that we don't have all the right answers. We are going to miss some things. Our experience will tune us into certain experiences and not as much to others. And so how do we bring that courage, that willingness to stand up, to speak out, to put ourselves at risk? And also the humility to know we might not have all the right answers. We might be wrong. We might be missing something. I love the line from Jim Collins' book, From Good to Great, that great leaders have professional will and personal humility. This means that great leaders take their work seriously, but don't take themselves seriously at all. And last but not least, number 10, this journey from knowing to doing to being. We all know that moment when someone tells us something that we didn't know before, and we go from not knowing to knowing, and it's really great, and it feels like we've learned that thing. But then we also know that experience where we know a thing, but we're not really doing the thing. Knowing better doesn't always mean doing better. And moving from knowing to doing is about practice. And oftentimes it's just reps and practicing and getting someone who's using new pronouns or a new name right sometimes takes reps and practice to go from knowing it to then doing it. And then going from doing it to being. And the doing is full of practice and effort and consciousness and thought and intention. And that, after some time of doing that, you move into this being where it's really less consciousness, less effort, less intentionality. It's integrated into who we are and how we move through the world. We might go from knowing how to be a good listener to practicing being a good listener to being a good listener just as how we show up in the world in our interactions. And that journey around really effective leadership, going from knowing it to doing it to being it. And we find in Evolve, we help move people a little bit into knowing, but really a lot of it is moving their knowing into the doing. And really what we're trying to help them do is move what they're doing and practicing with effort into a new way of being for them. I'm curious, which of these 10 lessons that we learned in our first year of Evolve most resonates with you? What really connects with you, is alive for you, or would be helpful for you? Love for you to add that in the comments if you'd like. We'll be sure to read them all. I also want to remind you about Evolve, which is this equity leadership program. Helps senior leaders release fear, gain courage, and take transformative action. It's a program I lead with my colleagues, Drs. Brian Arao and Don Lee. We also offer Evolve for teams where you can come into your senior leadership team and work with you in a variety of hybrid, lots of different ways we can structure that to best serve your organization and team. We'll include links about Evolve in the comments, links to connect with us there as well. If you're interested in Evolve and think this might be a good fit for you, we would love to connect with you. Let's talk soon.